Great. So welcome everyone to another one of our monthly My Speaker Business community calls. And I see that we have some first timers with us today, which is always an extra pleasure. To your benefit, let me say what these calls are about. Well, this My Speaker Business community has been created to bring aspiring and very established speakers together. And we are meeting here in this space once a month where we want to give you practical hints and tips directly from our guest experts that you can apply right away with your speaking and your business. You can also ask your own personal questions on how to make your own speaker business flourish further towards the end of the call. You get the opportunity to exchange with other professional speakers. Also, if you have any kind of high priority projects that you want help on, you want us to know about, you can also share those. And some of you, like Doug in the US, for example, he just got up. Okay, you just take a break and have fun with us. And for most of us in Europe, here is now lunchtime. So just join us and have some fun with us. And every month, I'm having a great expert with us. And today, the topic we'll talk about is all about voice magic. How you develop a voice that you never dreamt possible. And you're all aware how important the voice is, being a speaker or a singer. And you know how important it is to really have a long-lasting impact on stage and give a sparkling performance. And that is why a lot of speakers and singers and business leaders, they focus on really strengthening their voice by following certain vocal cord exercises. However, there's more to having a powerful voice than just having strong vocal cords. And what you need to really do is you need to detach your outer voice from your inner voice to become a truly outstanding speaker. And today you'll find out why this is so important and how you can do it yourself. Well, today we have a very special guest, a really dear friend of mine. And let me just introduce you because, oh my God, his introduction reads like, who is who in the world of singers and speakers and experts and sportsmen and everything else. He himself, over 40 years ago, he was really yearning to sing, and he felt that he was not a natural singer, so he felt compelled to really learn the techniques that pop stars and soul singers used to give their powerful performances. And so he studied how the voice works, and not just about how the voice works, but its connection with the human spirit behind it. And after mastering his own voice, he spent the next 30 days teaching other speakers and singers to get the best out of their voice. He has helped not only TV personalities and pop stars, but also a whole range of people like barristers and teachers, executives, international football managers. And he has coached the Grammy Award winner Sam Smith, and one of his pupils was the Voice winner German Jackman. I don't know if you watched that show and got a taste of that. Well, with this, he gained a wealth of experience diagnosing thousands of varied vocal challenges. And our guest today is not just an ordinary singing and vocal trainer, but he's really an expert in removing the mental blocks that might prevent you from reaching your ultimate goals as a speaker and within your business. He really understands how the voice and mind works together. And there's so much more to say about you. But there's one thing I want to say about you, which is that you and I spent an incredible day together in London a couple of weeks ago. And I had the honor to have an immersion day with you. It changed everything for me. I always thought I can't sing. You showed me I can. And you're doing magic. And I know that you're constantly also on TV. You're working with BBC. You're their advisor to Voice Matters. And I know that you were called actually last week because Theresa May, and you all know what's happening with the UK and Europe right now. She lost her voice. And you were talking about why she's losing her voice on BBC. So this is amazing. So everyone give a very wholehearted welcome with me to Doc Voice. Doc, it's so great to have you.
Thank you very much.
Anthony Wade, you're known as Doc Voice. Why Doc Voice? Where did you pick up that title?
Well, because it's really strange because I've always I've always been like this. It's something like, you know, but can you hear me, everyone?
Yes, we can, sweetie.
So,
He loves to play with his voice. He loves to make jokes. Okay, you all will see that soon.
how annoying is that? If you knew that James Bond, the man playing James Bond, I forget his name, who will come on stage to collect his award, and he stands in front of the mic and goes, "Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I really..." He goes, "Hang on, this is James Bond. He can't. This is terrible. What's his voice doing?" And it's funny because I've always said this, and the voice is the soundtrack to your life. It's the echo of who you really are. And each one of you here, firstly, thank you for joining. And I want to thank you all personally here. I can see you on my little screen, and it's lovely that I can actually see your face and connect to you, because that's very important. It's nice to look at who it is you're sharing with. And I like this idea. I've not done this before, funny enough, not on Zoom. Skype all keeps messing up. Anyway, so the point is, you've bothered to leave your things behind today to come in here for this 1 hour, or however long we have, to share with me some insights and hopefully some good tips on what you're doing with your voice. And the question I want you to ask yourself to begin with is, and it's a good question, you could write this down and put your own answer to it: am I really happy with my sound? It's an interesting question. Do I understand my sound? Do I, see, good questions, write these down. Do I listen to my sound when I communicate? Or do you just talk? Now, I can see you all there, so you can all do this. And you can just put your finger up. How many of you answer the question, "Oh, I just talk"? Put your finger up like that. I just talk. Right? Two of you. So the others work on their voice. Is that correct? Put your fingers up, those that are working on their voice. Good. Okay, so here's what's important. When we work on our voice, we work with the normal process of, you know, trying to wake our voices up to become singers or good speakers. The key to all that is not the techniques, is not the working on it. The key to it all is who you are in your sound. And if you don't know who you are in your sound, then you're just going to give more information. You're going to be an information giver. Someone that's sharing just information. And it's not about that for me. For me, my journey has taken me, Monique said I took people for 30 days. It was 30 years, actually. but in the time I've worked with voices, thousands of larynxes have been in front of me. In this very studio, I've had Amy Winehouse, Sam Smith, lots of people, chairman of companies, head of the stock exchange. So many people have been in this room where I help them uncover their true sound in who they are. Now, how does that work? Well, it comes from this very simple thing, that when you were born, you took a breath. The most powerful thing ever happened to you. In fact, it's the last thing is going to happen to you is you're going to expel a breath. Two of the most powerful events of your life. Well, when you took a breath, you went, wah! 64 muscles ringing out to the universe. It wasn't quiet. And if you listen to any baby anywhere, if there's a baby outside this building here now crying, it would interrupt our talk. Because the power of those muscles and that baby calling out is saying, I'm here, I'm alive, ah! And that sound that baby's making is totally pure and in tune with the breath. So the breath and the voice are married. They're one. In your brain, you have these little sausages. And one sausage says, oh, I'm slapping the right side of my face. Another sausage says, oh, I'm slapping the sausage says your leg's going up and down, or the other leg's going up and down. These are motor neurons in the brain, in the little sausage brain we have. There's no sausage for the voice, and there's no sausage for the breath. They're autonomous, straight from the soul, straight from the center of who you really are. Your sound is the purest thing you have. I'd like you to do an exercise with me now, just to give you more of a sort of getting in touch with it. I've done this before. You may have seen it on the internet. I think I did it on the last thing with you, Monique. So some of you may have seen it. It's a very simple thing to do. But I want you to say a word where you are, where you sit now. I'd like you to say a word, right? You take a breath, but you must take a breath in, because you must put your breath with your voice together. And I want you to feel, because you need to feel the sound as it comes up. And you're going to say a word, and the word is going to be the best word it can describe you in the English language. The word is me. Me. You feel that? Now, I'd like you to all do that for me. Just take a breath in and go, me. And feel that sound. Where you go? Are we doing it? Can we feel it? Now, here's the key. As you do that, you're going to do it again. Take a breath in and get it on the and me. And feel the sound come out of you with your breath as you speak. Here we go. Try it again. Breathe in and me. Now, as you would do, I can't see whether you're doing it or not. I'm not sure whether you're doing it or not, but did you all do it? Put your finger up if you all did it. Yeah, great. No, you didn't do it. Victor didn't do it. Okay. So here's the thing. When you take that breath in and you go, me, and you feel that sound, the me in you, it's called, that sound doesn't criticize. That sound doesn't judge, doesn't live in the past. That sound doesn't get emotional. That sound in you is divine. That sound is the total center of who you are, in that me in you. The self, however, criticizes, judges, lives in the past, gets emotional. The me in you, that sound is free of it all. It's utterly free of all mind, all logic, all concepts, all belief systems. And when you are with that sound, you're awake. You're more awake in who you are than you can ever be when you speak. So to be with the sound in you, to be with the me in you when you speak, brings the elements which I've given you, got a sheet for. It brings awareness to the elements. And whether you want to take on board what those elements are is up to you. But it's a practice. You see, you've been practicing all your life different things. You practice, some of us have practiced misery, sadness. It's a practice. We've been practicing the way we think about repetition. We practice all the time. When we speak, if we're speaking unconsciously, we're practicing to speak unconsciously. Meaning, we're waffling. Meaning, I had two people in my studio the other day. I heard them speaking, two directors here in this big film studios where I work. And they were talking to each other. And one was, as they were talking, they go, oh, it should be, And the other guy went, oh, maybe so. I went, later. I have no idea what they said. I was right in front of them. And they were mumbling. We've developed a world and a nation of mumblers. Because when you mumble, it's coming straight from your thinking through shallow breathing, because it's all part of the fast thinking process in our brain. And when we fast think, we fast and we are what we call in distraction mode. We actually think, oh no, to think fast and to think on your feet and all this stuff. Yes, there's a tool in your brain that gives you that focus. That's one thing. But there's another part in our brain which is disconnected from who we really are. And that's when we say things unconsciously. When we're saying things without being aware. So today is about hopefully steering you towards becoming aware of your sound, feeling it. Stop thinking it. Know your stuff, which I'm sure each one and every one of you are skilled in what you do. Experience your stuff, what it is you're learning or what you want to communicate to your world, your people, your friends, your business, in your seminar speaking. But also feel what you're saying. It's extraordinary. As I'm speaking to you, you may note my voice. I pause. Gives me time to breathe. What else does it do? It stops the constant, especially on stage if you're a speaker. So what I'd like to show you, I don't know if there's many out there, because there's a lot of people that do And the thing that really wipes the out, if you want to the out, it out. And be with your breath in between what you say. Now watch me, I won't do an I'll breathe. I smile, and then I continue. I'm not thinking, oh, I've got to get this out. Oh, I've got to make sure this. Oh, I've got to... If I've practiced enough my speeches, if I'm practiced enough in my intent to uplift these lovely people in front of you, these audiences that you are going out to serve, because that's what you're doing. Please understand this. Please understand. There's a question for you, and I'll be very interested to know how each one of you answer it. You've been given this voice by nature, by God, by life, by whoever, whatever you want to believe. You've been given sound. So who does that belong to? Who does that belong to? Right. Hands up those who said me. Who said me? Right? Wrong. Your voice does not belong to you. Do you have a question?
No, I didn't say me. For me, it belongs to the other people that listen to it.
Yes, that's dead right, Sabina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what I'm saying to you is this. Why? Because your voice comes out of you in mono. God, nature designed other people listening to you with stereo. They got two ears to hear you. You are coming in mono, they are receiving in stereo. Which means what? They're getting double whammer. They're getting double of the intent, the meaningfulness of what it is you are trying to share. So you are sharing with people. So I always say this to people at the end of my talks. I say this quite regularly. When you speak, if what you say is not kind, It's not inspiring. It's not educational. It's not uplifting. It's not real. If it's not honest, then please shut the hell up. Because what you're doing is transmitting some negative, something else that's part of the thinking processes that is not in consciousness. So what we're talking about here is learning to speak with consciousness, meaning conscious first of your sound. If you're not conscious of your sound, you are then conscious of your thoughts. And when you're conscious of your thoughts, well, let me explain a little bit about that, and I'm sure every one of you understand this. Your thoughts are not your best friend. Your thoughts could quite easily say, go on, have that cake, it's got cream on it. And then you go to eat it and it says, oh, what do you eat that for? Now you feel sick. The same thing that told you to eat the cake is now criticizing you for eating the cake. This is our thoughts running rampant in us, constantly in a world of duality in our life. So, but when you're with consciousness in your sound, thought doesn't have a chance. Only the intent of your meaningfulness or what it is you want to share. And if that's heartfelt, fantastic. I was asked by David Cameron, the MP here in Great Britain, the Prime Minister that was here last time, his second in command said he wanted to have some voice coaching. And when he found out that I teach people to speak from the heart, from consciousness, he cancelled the appointment. And it's funny because there's a big interweaving of thinking processes and all sorts of junk going in people's heads so fast. Listen, the mind is very fast. May I remind you that your mind, our mind, the thing that interferes with most of our life, distracts us and makes us feel down or not happy or whatever, the mind is one notch down from being omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient. The mind is that powerful. It is a powerful force in us. Don't think of the color red and what you go and do. Don't go to America and what you're doing now. You can visualize it. So here's the interesting thing. Your breath is more subtle than the mind. Your breath, when you breathe, is more attuned to who you really are than your mind is. Because your breath was there at the beginning with the voice. So what happens when we put our breath with our voice now, like we did with the me and me? What happens when we practice that? Fireworks, consciousness change, expansion in the consciousness. Guess what? I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I gave a talk not so long ago, all these guys, all these dignitaries in this room, and I'll never forget going on stage saying, I know what you want. I know what every one of you in this room want, right from the day you were born to the day you die. I know what you want. And they're looking at me with such anticipation. And that is to feel good. You don't get out of bed in the morning to try and find out how you can feel bad. You want to feel good about your life, about who you are, don't you? This is why we're here. So what I'm offering in this consciousness, in this talk, in this experience of what I'm talking about, is to tune you in to feeling good about your sound. I'm sure you're very good in your thinking. I'm sure you're very good in working out. And I'm sure a lot of you do a lot of amazing practices for things. But here's a question. How often do you practice your sound feeling when you speak? Not doing this. La 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 la. Not all this stuff. That helps musculature. There's no doubt about that. I mean, I've got some of the world's top singers doing techniques to build musculature to give you the power. So they're going, ow! They can sing high, you know, really push their voices into different areas. All these different sounds are in your body. And there's 64 muscles in the larynx, and there's all these resonators waiting to be used. And we don't use them. We mumble. I'm not saying you do, but most people do. And I watch a lot of speakers. I even suggested that if ever I was in front of Richard Branson or Alan Sugar, that I would sit with them and say, what you've done is extraordinary in helping so many people build businesses, and you've built businesses, you've done amazing on this earth. Can I tell you, it would have been 100% more had you been in speaking consciously. Rather than, because that's what, because when you're speaking consciously, you're attaching yourself to the God force. Hello? Oh, well, religion, is it now? No. This is not religion. This is not religion. You're attaching yourself to the elements of you. When you go into your breath and your sound, it's you, which is God, which is the beauty of this existence, which is the divine in you, in the me in you. And when you're with that, you pause. You uplift. You get higher in pitch, like the sheet is in front of you. If you've got the sheet in front of you, you've got pitch. You've got dynamics. What's dynamics? Loud and then soft. Very interesting. To control an audience with dynamics. How are you going to feel that? You know, it's like it's just take people, you're talking about stories. Your voice becomes a story in the elements. And when you use rhythm, it's like people, when they speak with rhythm, rattle off like a machine gun. Well, one of the things I wanted to say today, and I'd like to bring into the awareness of all my things I wanted to share with you, and I really believe it is now this rhythm shooting off like a machine gun, people pick that up and they go, they see a pattern and they think they know what you're going to say next. So they shut off. They go to sleep because you're rhythmically putting them to sleep. But when you pause, then look, and then take it up and take it back down here like that with your story. And you can move fast if you want in a particular area that you want to speak, but you stop. You don't do that all the way through like a railway train. You still use different rhythms. What's rhythm? Rhythm is da 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 da. Oh, da 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 da. Rhythm. It's a little bit funny. Rhythm is feeling inside. Story. Da 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 da. Da, 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 da. Story. And when you're in the elements of speech, the pitch, the rhythm, the dynamics, the volume, and the articulation and vowels, you're in musical flow in your speeches. You're in the moment. You're not in your mind. You cannot be in the mind and in the moment at the same time. It's not possible. Hello? What? What a statement. You cannot be in your mind. Here's something for you. I'm sorry. I'm enjoying myself here, sharing with you. I love you all. I do love you all. You're wonderful. You're human beings sitting there with ears open, and I'm waffling on from my monophonic sound, but feeling love for you. And I'm really excited about the fact that I can be sharing with you at this moment. So thank you for being here. This is lovely. And why? Why am I excited? Why am I feeling good? Ooh, because I'm in the essence of my truth. I get blissful. I get really excited about sharing truth. Truth. This isn't waffle. This is my truth. So I've been doing for 40 years, changing thousands and thousands of larynxes and aiming people towards who they really are in their sound. That's a joy. It's an immense joy when you see someone, and even in the singing, when there's someone singing. So a girl came here from America, she couldn't sing. I said, hang on, wait a minute. Stand there, put your chin in, do this, go, oh! And she did. And she went, ah! And out came this amazing voice in 2 seconds. And she went, oh, I've had singing teachers for years. How come this? Well, because she did. I don't know why. I'm not here to criticize other people. I just know that when you are attaching yourself to who you really are, because it's not the voice that's doing the work, it's you. Behind the voice, behind your breath. If your breath is not right, your voice won't be. I was on radio 15 years ago and I was told, could I go on radio? I said, yeah, okay. So I went all the way down the motorway. I didn't know what the show was. It was Radio 5 Live. And on the way in the car, I was listening to the station that I was just about to go on to talk. I didn't know what it was about. And on the way there, I heard Maggie Thatcher talking with Roy Kinnock. And, she wasn't Prime Minister. She just finished. But it was like, I'm on the show with them, And he was saying, right, you're right, Honourable Baroness, we have Dr. Voice in the studio in a moment. I thought, bloody, So anyway, I turned up at the studio. I had no idea why they wanted me. And I was in Kent on headphones. She was in London in headphones. Roy Kinnock was in Wales on headphones. And leader of the opposition. And we were all talking, conversing. And one of the things, the reason why they brought me in, because this guy from America had decided that he can take old people's voices and surgically cut the chords up so that the person can sound younger. £20,000, the operation. And I think I ruined this guy's life. I'm sorry. I don't know. I went in the Guardian, you went in all the major newspapers. But what I said to them, look, I'm going to be honest with you. The reason why a person sounds, hello, dear. Hello, love. Hello, duck. The reason why we go like that is because stop breathing properly. We lose the breathing control. We lose the stomach muscles, which control the diaphragm for the sound. And these old people don't need to go and have an operation. Come to me and I'll wake their muscles up in their diaphragm and I'll get them to direct their voice in a beautiful way as when they were young. You don't need to have an operation. It's ridiculous because the breath is the thing which controlling the voice. So a lot of old people get emphysema or they get, all these different illnesses where they don't breathe properly, asthma. But there's ways around that. This is what I've done. I've taken deaf people, got them singing, but people with cerebral palsy, I've got them singing. And I've taken people who've lost their voice totally and brought their voice back when laryngologists and speech therapists can't do it. I don't know. It's because I go to who they are. I don't go through the, no, you need these tablets, you need this, you need that. And this is why I'm called Dr. Voice, I think, because I sort of analyze a voice in a different way than what a medical doctor would do. I do it through the psychology. So coming back to where we are and why I'm doing this and why you're sitting there listening so avidly, is that you, inside you, have this phenomenal sound. And I get a feeling, itchy feeling, that you haven't accessed it fully. I get a feeling that most people don't, without being directed to or awoken to it. We accept what the sound is we got. And do you know what that sound is you've got? Copied. It's not you. It's your dad, your mum, it's other scenarios. You've copied. So you want to know why you're not confident sometimes? You want to know why confidence doesn't emanate through your persona often. If it doesn't, some of it does. But there's a big reason for that across the board for the millions of people that are quote unquote low self-esteem and inconfident. We all have low self-esteem. We're all inconfident because we're all 5 years old anyway in our hearts, deep down. So we're all suffering from that somewhere or some shape or form. So what we do when we grow up, we hear someone, our mum or dad or significant other or someone at school, and we say, oh, and you try to copy that person because it was clever or because they. So you take on the characteristics in your persona, in your voice, and copy them. And most of your life, you practice this until someone confronts you with anything. They just confront you. And all of a sudden, you're going red in the face and you're feeling embarrassed. You're feeling inconfident because actually you're playing a part. You're playing a copy of someone else. And your fear is that you've just been exposed. Deep down inside, you've been exposed. Whoa. Because you're not being in your true sound. And what is your true sound? It is not the copy. It's in your breath and in your sound right now. So I want you to try something for me. I want you to just get into this, if you will, with me, just to get a feel of what I'm talking about. I'm going to take a breath in, and you can do it sitting down, as long as you're reasonably sat up. Don't be lounged down with your legs up or doing something. You need to be in an erect position so you can breathe easy into your chest and feel the breath. And take a breath in, just nice breath in and let it out. Now what we're going to do, we're going to make sound inside ourselves. We're not going to go, we're going to make sound inside ourselves. Now listen to how I make this sound inside myself. Oh, that's the first thing. Listen to that. Oh. Now I'm becoming like very dumber, like chin down, inside, chin in. Oh. And you hear the sound go up. Are we up for this? Are we ready? Let's do it. Breathe and oh. Good. Do it again. Now I want you to go higher than that. I want you to go oh, as high as you can. Here we go. Oh. Right. As we're doing this, what are you noticing? Anybody? Sabini, what did you notice?
Well, I felt like something that did free up. And I also felt my vocal cords. I have something with my vocal cords because when I was small, I have a very low voice and a volume voice. Yeah. They always told me to not speak out loud and not to sing. And so I thought I could not sing. And so I started to have a very high voice. And every time when I'm very nervous, I'm speaking like this. And it really hurts with my vocal cords. So the last years, I tried to get my voice down again to that beautiful pitch that I have, which is very low. Relax. And doing this exercise, I just felt how my vocal cords were reacting to this different heights?
Stretching. We were stretching your vocal cords, but from where? The central sound beam of who you are. It's mad. And, you know, when you come from the central sound beam of who you are inside, all the sound that you are comes up. And when you awaken that in your body, you become closer to yourself. You start to feel more of your body and presence when you speak. It awakens that in you. It awakens this phenomenon called true communication. Honest, sincere connection. You know, I had a lot of people in the room one day. You can't do it at the moment, but you can do it. And there was couples all around the room. It was interesting. And I said, look, I'm going to prove to you the breath and the voice are married. So what we're going to do, I want you to just to turn to the person next to you and say, hello, how are you? How are you doing? Just do that. Hello, how are you? How are you doing? And they did this. And then I said, right, now I want you to do that again to each other. But this time I want you to take a breath in, feel the sound and say, hello, how are you? How are you doing? And feel it when you say it. Just go with your breath and feel it in that moment. So they all did this. There's about 180 people in the room. Anyway, I said, right, anybody? And one guy put, oh my God, that was so sincere. I never felt so sincere in my life when I said that. People were saying, oh my God, it felt like I really connected with the person. I mean, this is just one little exercise with the breath and the voice. Hello, this is no big deal that we do not look at. We're too busy in here. We're not feeling. So as I was doing that, there's a woman in the front row, and I said, madam, you look really beautiful tonight. I must say, you look really nice. And I just said that to her because she did look nice. And I said it very glibly and fast. And she looked at me as if saying, yeah, okay, you know. And then I said to her, madam, you look really beautiful tonight. I must say, you look really lovely. And then I turned and I continued and I looked back and she was crying. She started to cry. And I was surprised. I said, do you mind if I... She said, no, it's all right. She said, no. I said, can I ask you, madam? A lady here, I asked her, I told her just a moment ago something. And can you explain your experience? And she said, yeah. She said, when you said to me, madam, you look really beautiful tonight, you look really lovely, didn't mean anything. It was like you were lying to me. Really? She said, yes. But when you did it the second time, she said, it felt like it was the first time anybody said that to me in my life. And I just couldn't help it. Hello? Hello? This is real life. What connected? My son, every morning, I would say, Jack, turn the lights off before you go to school, will you? All right, Dad. I come home, they're always on. Lights are always on. Never turns them off. Then I thought, okay, I'm going to use voice energy. I'm going to use the breath with the voice today to see what happens. Jack, turn the lights out before you go to school today. See what I'm doing? I've got pitch, I've got pause, I've got dynamics, I've got articulation, I've got vowels coming from my central sound beam. They were out every time. He turned the lights out every time I did that. And when you're controlling staff or people around you, and go and get rid of somebody, and you're giving information out, people don't feel it. They don't get it. And you're wondering why you look at some of your subordinates, they say, well, you know, that idiot, what I asked him to do this, why didn't he do it? Because you didn't communicate correctly, consciously. Conscious communication is really, truly diminishing on this planet. And my message to this world is please wake up the consciousness in your sound, because you will be fully present and you will feel much more happier, much more alive in who you really are. I can't explain it. I get blissful. I get blissed out. When I talk, I don't do enough of these talking, but because I have 10 people in this studio here, I have people, stars from all over the world coming in, singing, and it's amazing because I'm able to remove their blocks, the psychological blocks, their fears before they go on stage. So many things go on in this room, which is just wonderful for me. So I'm so occupied doing that. But Monique is very kindly said, look, there's bigger, better platforms, and I've never thought about it. I'm honest, it's not about that for me. But I'm starting to realise I'm writing a book called The Journey to My Voice, or Journey to Your Voice. I'm not sure which way to do that yet. I think Your Voice. Journey to Your Voice. And then there's all the stories where I spent with, years ago with the Bee Gees and, different people I met all over the world, how I've been affected by lack of consciousness on this planet. Lack of consciousness. Please hear your sounds. Hear them. It's you in there. Oh, it's you. You're in those sounds when you're making them. And guess what? When you've said what you've said and you weren't with your sound, you didn't get an experience. You were not experiencing. You were just information giving. So to choose, what do you want? Do you want to live your life consciously or unconsciously? And when you live your life consciously, joy, freedom, real communication takes place. Real feelings become something for you. And then, because it's for you, when you speak in mono, the stereo ears go, oh. And what do people feel from you? I'll tell you what they feel from you. And it comes from this very, very quick story when I was in Oxford. And I was up in Oxford and I had to give a talk, and there's all these people turning up, about 180 people in the room. And I come out on stage, I had nothing prepared. Nothing. I had no idea what I was going to talk about. And so I had my piano down. So I came out, I said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for turning up. But do you realize you've left your homes? You've left your favorite TV program. You have left your babysitter with a baby. You've left all these things. This could be your last 3 hours on earth. And you've left these 3 hours to spend with me. Have you any idea how much pressure that puts me under? Have you any idea what I'm going through up here on this stage? And do you know why you've done that? Because you want something. You want something. From this age, oh, I want toys, prams, this age, I want a car, I want money, girlfriends, boyfriends. This age, adult, I want business, I want expansion, I want joy, right? You want something. You've always wanted something, and Coca-Cola know this. That's why they try to sell you the real thing. So you want something. And here's what's interesting. That's something you want. You don't even know what it is. And I said to them, but I'm going to share with you what it is. So arrogant, isn't it? But I'm going to share with you exactly what it is. You're here for one thing only. That something that you want is to feel quenched. You want to feel quenched, satisfied, warm. That was good. That felt right. I just needed that. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I said to him, tonight you will go away feeling quenched. And it's about that. Any talk you give, anything you share with any audience anywhere in the world, anybody that goes to the movies, goes to watch television, goes to watch a comedy program, they're all looking to be quenched. They're all looking to feel satisfied, contented from their time spent in that scenario. And if your prime objective is not to quench that audience and just give them information, you see, but when you've quenched yourself, when you're with the consciousness of your sound and being with who you are, and you're feeling good, you're more passionate, you're more focused, you're more conscious, you will quench that audience. Because you're in abundance of it. You've got the abundance of it's coming out of you. In the truth, in your message, in your whatever it is you're trying to uplift or bring people into the awareness of. Maybe it's a new idea, a new process to help them think differently. Doesn't matter. It still needs to be conveyed from within you, within you, not off the top of your head. That's speaking consciously. So the 6 elements I've got here: pitch, rhythm, dynamics, pause, articulation, and vowels, are a way of helping you get inside yourself. Let me give you an example. If I play this, I'll ask you what mood sense you feel. If I play this to you, what mood sense does that give you? I know you can't all answer me, but it's Sabrina. Go on, then. You seem to be the one. What mood sense does it give you, Sabine?
Well, it's kind of dramatic, heavy,
sad.
Sad, yeah. Like
I play that to children, and they go, "Oh, sad death." They even say. Do you know Chopin wrote that? It's called the Funeral March. He knew you would feel that through that melody. So, what does this composer want you to feel? Yeah? What does he want you to feel? What did you feel from that? Anybody? What mood sense did that give you?
It's uplifting.
Uplifting. Thank you, Mel. Uplifting. Triumphant. Right. That melody instructed that feeling in you. So what happens when we hear someone on stage doing this? Hello, I'm Johnny One Note. Nice to see you. Thought I'd come here today to talk to you, and I hope you're going to buy all my DVDs at the back of the room. I hope you're going to enjoy my talk, and I know that you are going to, because I talk like this all the time. There's a girl in the front row, I think she fancies me, and I hope I'll take her out later. You never know. You know, it's like, right? Monotone. Passion doesn't come wrapped in monotone. Passion comes with melody. Why? Why would we even want to do that? When I gave a talk to all the bankers in the city, 500 bankers in the city, I stood up. I don't know where this come from, but I was right in the moment, and I stood there and I looked around the room. I went, "You're all liars." And the whole place looking at me, stop eating. Every one of you are a liar. Well, hands up those who've never lied. No one dare move. And then this woman put her hand up at the back. I said, "You're a liar, madam." She said, "I know." She put her hand. Because you can only be honest when you are honest. You don't own honesty. It's an in-the-moment experience. You're either honest or you're not. You can only have faith when you have faith. Otherwise, it don't work. So, you can only be confident when you are confident. And here's the last one. You can only be conscious when you are conscious. These are the virtues that we practice in the moment or not. So my question to you is, please, if you want to speak consciously, you want to come alive to your sound, start waking up some of the concepts I hopefully have shared with you today, which have some sort of meaningfulness. I hope that what I've shared has been thought-provoking at least, and I'm sure of you, some of you, I might be teaching you to suck eggs. I know you've probably been there and done it before, but for me, this is what I do. This is what I teach. This is what I make people aware of, and I have a ball doing it. So you've been absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for sitting here like this. I'm coming to, I feel I'm coming to the end. Is that right?
Well, yes, you do, Doc, but there's still a couple of questions open. Are you happy to answer 2-3 questions?
Of course, please.
Cool. Okay, so Mitun was asking, how do I avoid hurting my vocal cords, especially when I'm giving a longer presentation?
Avoiding hurting the cords is because you are in tension. The only reason why you hurt your vocal cords is because you're experiencing stress in your body and in your larynx. Your larynx will in turn take on the stress. We just spoke about Theresa May, which I just advised the BBC. She lost her voice while she spoke on Brexit because it was hurting, just like you're saying. And why that was hurting is because her decisions in Brexit were hurting, and because everything else she was touched turned to dust. Everything else she's been doing is going wrong. So psychologically, the vocals go wrong. But when you are attuned to being relaxed with yourself, feeling good and passionate about yourself, doing simple warm-ups, doing simple things to help your voice, the central sound beam, whoa, just opens up all the channels. It's so easy. You do that 20, 30 times a day, it's going to change your life. That will change your life. Oh, and feel it. Sometimes I sit down for about an hour. I do it myself. I go, oh, oh, and I can hear the different tones and quality. Oh, oh, and I start playing with it, and it starts to come alive. And you can never hurt your voice when the muscles are actively ripe and you're working on the voice, and that you're not stressed.
Beautiful. So there's another question. I feel you gave an answer already, but you might want to say more about this. It's from Anu, and she's asking, well, she loves singing and she feels very conscious, very conscious when she sings, but when I speak, I'm not confident. Why?
Because she hasn't, when she's singing, she may feel confident, but she's not experiencing the resonance of her sound enough when she sings. Meaning, if she's not getting tingly and attuned to this amazing feeling of who she is when she's singing, when she goes to talk, you'll find that she has a difficulty to cross over. Having said that, she's also probably got some psychological blocks towards that part of her persona, her personality, when she goes to speaking. Whereas speaking brings on a different element, maybe from her past, some block she's picked up when she talks to people. It's another story, and that's something she can clear up. If she wants to clear that up, it's all possible. So the fact that she's got these psychological blocks in her speaking and not in her singing is irrelevant. It's really about how she is in those different areas. She has to be conscious in both areas.
Great. So it looks like these were the questions we had. Anyone else? Do you still have a question for Doc? Take the opportunity now if you want to.
Yeah, the word is quenched. I just saw that, Zabini.
Hey. Yes.
Quenched, yes.
Okay. Now everyone is stunned. Everyone loves you, Doc. You are a firework. Your voice is a firework, and I feel very honored, and I'm happy to work with you on my own voice all the time.
Wow, yeah, we're booked in for Tuesday, aren't we, next week?
Yes. So anyhow, if there's no more questions from anyone, I just thank you from the bottom of my heart. Sorry?
I put my hand up.
I didn't see that. You need to unmute yourself and speak up because I can see everyone. It's
okay.
Great.
So first of all, I wanted to thank you very much for this talk, which left me quite emotional for the reason that I said before, because I have the feeling that I got some very important key to the health of my voice and my vocal cords.
Yes.
And also the kind of looking forward in taking care of myself and being myself also with my voice.
Yes.
And I wanted to ask you, as I sometimes have problems when I talk, because of course this is now a transition, I got really wonderful input, and every one of us got today, in becoming our true voice. But by the time to get there, of course, sometimes the voice is suffering a bit because we are now pitched too high or whatever we do with our voices. So is there anything that you could give us that could be helpful for the stressed vocal cords so that they can relax easier? Or is it that that exercise that we did before that we can use to do that?
There are a few exercises, and I'd be very happy to pass them on to Monique for you, that you can go off and do prior to meetings. One particular one is this one, because it's a simple one. It brings the glottis together, and it actually activates the musculature and brings more presence. In fact, I have so many people who have lost their voices, and I do this technique on them, and their voice comes straight back. So this technique is the goog, so simple. It is used in singing. People use it in singing techniques. Singing teachers use it. They don't know why they're using it, half of them, but they're using it because they think it's a warm-up. It's not. It's a musculature building. It's a transformational technique. So it will transform your voice as you do it over a period of time. And this is the goog. Goog, 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 goog. Goog, 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 goog. G-O-O-G. Goog, 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 goog. Goog, 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 goog. Goog, 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 goog. Right, what you're doing, you're tapping the chord and you're strengthening the power of the chord. Now, the reason why the voices go is because I've got this big map here. I can't show you at the moment. I mean, have we got time or not? Monique, to show things, no? Hello, Monique?
Yeah, I hear you. I was trying to unmute myself, sorry.
Are we out of time?
Question is how much more do you need? Because I think people need to start stepping out soon, but I don't know how long it takes.
I was just going to show a picture of the vocal cords to Sabini, and your.
Why don't you describe it? Can you describe it somehow?
No, you can't. That's why I was going to show the picture. Hang on. Basically, what's happening with the vocal cords when you're doing it, Sabina, you've got to keep them strong. When the vocal cords are strong, right, you're on a winner, and this is what it's about. Does this share? It does share, doesn't it? There we are. Yeah. Right. I'm just going to share my screen. I think this is sharing the screen.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, there it is. Right, here's your vocal cords. The reason why you're losing your voice, and I said the same to Adele when she was on tour, she was losing her voice because of this one thing. Can you see, how do I share my screen?
There is when you go down with your mouse, there is a menu and it says share.
Got it. Okay, I've got that.
And thank you for sharing it.
There we are. Is this the one I'm sharing? Share.
Yep, it looks, yep.
You can see that?
Now it works.
Can you see these chords moving? Can you see them?
Yes,
yeah.
we can.
Right, those chords are moving. That's when you speak. And when you speak too much, look where, here, they're tipping at the top. So what's happening, they will get abrasive in the end if you keep doing that. Now, singers sing there a lot. And the singing there a lot comes from the breathiness. In a woman's voice, she gets too breathy. That's why she loses her voice. Hi there, ha, ha. Too breathy over the vocal cords creates dryness. Using the vocal cords with the breath behind it is better. So here you get an abrasive, and that will give you nodes eventually. This happened to Adele. I sent a message to her management saying she's going to lose her voice in 9 months, and she did, because she was doing this. Now here's how to use the voice. These, can you see that? Now
Yes.
that is good. You see, these muscles here, the red bit there and the red bit there, either side, are the TA muscle. And it's bringing the chords together, equilibrium, beautifully together. You see that? So the good technique will help you do that. And the oh will help you do that. And keep the voice buoyant. And then the chances of losing your voice is almost remote. You know, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. I use my voice 12 hours a day. I get tired. I get edema. I get swelling around the cords. But I never lose my voice.
Great. Okay.
Great. Wow. Thank you very much. This was such a useful information.
How do you
Maybe-
come out of that now? New share. Stop share. Stop share. There we are. There we are.
Stop sharing. Great, wonderful. So Doug, thank you so much for being here. And I know there's probably more questions coming up. I suggest everyone that has more questions to Doug. Doug, you're part of our community anyhow as well. Just keep an eye out for questions, and I'm sure you might be happy to answer some more, right, over the next couple of days.
Yes, indeed. And thank you every one of you, so beautifully. It's just lovely to have this opportunity to share with you. You're close to Monique. What you're doing in your life. I don't know each of you what you're doing, but I can imagine you're changing lives. And all I can say is keep the good work up. Thank you for being you, and thank you for listening.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Doc, for being with us today. Everyone loved you. So many loving and appreciative comments. So I hope you all took something away from this session today with Doc. As I said earlier as well, Doc is doing immersion days. If any one of you wants to work on your voice, get in touch with me. I connect you with Doc, and or connect with him directly on Facebook in the community or directly. Let him show you even more magic. And I tell you that these immersion days are magical. Great. So thank you so much, Doc. You said it all at the end, all the appreciation to every single one being here with us, because you are changing the world. And as Doc said, you will change the world so much more when you use your voice consciously. Okay, good. You all go out there and take the hints and tips away from today, and try to be more conscious with your voice, and share with us in the community how that goes for you. Doc and I are very curious to hear, right? Absolutely. So thank you all for being here with us today. And again, next month we have another incredible call. In the meantime, keep an eye out or become conscious on your voice. Okay, so speak up, and you're going to make a bigger difference out there. Great, everyone. Thanks for being with us today. See you soon. Cheers.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very, very much. Have a wonderful day.